If you have ever done this, then I am super envious. In this video, we'll take real weather, we'll use real procedures, and we'll fly on a simulated network with other pilots, and we'll experience this natural wonder of the world, the Grand Canyon, as we aim to learn a thing or two about planning and flying a famous helicopter air tour route. So, let's fly. And how excited would you be to see this scene in real life? Grand Canyon helicopters at Grand Canyon National Park Airport on a perfectly cool, clear, crisp late winter or early spring afternoon with our waiting helicopter. This is handcrafted scenery, which is available to you in every edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, as is this helicopter, the default Airbus H125. With this default registration, 18317, we're going to hear that a few times in this video. Let's get aboard. Well, first of all, where are we going? So what I've done is I have gone to the FAA and I've found this PDF to help with planning our routes here today. So there are a number of published routes, and it's the green ones we're interested in here. We've got a couple of different published helicopter air tour routes. We've got green 1 and we've got green 2, and we've got a link there at the top, green 1A, to take you from 1 to 2. Right, so it's pretty simple. You might notice there that the inbound and the outbound are separated, so that it provides a bit of separation in the air. And also the helicopter routes are generally about 1,000 or 500 feet lower than the fixed wing routes, and that's another way to ensure separation in the air. So for this one, I've chosen route 2, green 2, for our short flight today. And the next thing to do was to get it into a format that Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 could use. I used Navigraph. I believe you could also use little navmap for this particular task. Now, I like Navigraph because I could move around the points here and get them to match up what I saw on the FAA chart. That's something that I found very difficult in the MSFS planner. So this suited me for this task nicely. And so there it is. We're just going to go clockwise on that route there. And what I can do in Navigraph, or indeed in Little Navmap, is I can export that in a format that Microsoft Flight Simulator can read. And that looks like this. So that gets into the EFB, the inbuilt tablet, and looks like that. So that's going to be our guide today. I think it's about 40 nautical miles all up that route, and so that'll give us a lovely flight simming opportunity over here. We're going to be holding 7,500 feet throughout, so pretty simple on the altitude planning there. And I am going to do this flight on VATSIM. So I've filed a flight plan, and it's pretty simple. I've just said I'm going from KGCN to KGCN, and in the remarks, it's a VFR flight route, of course. In the remarks, I've just said that I'm doing the Green 2 air tour route, VFR scenic. Now, I will need to get a couple of things into the radio. So into the COM1, I'm going to need to get the CTAF frequency. There's no one on duty on tower at Grand Canyon National Park Airport, so we'll get the CTAF frequency on, and that's going to be that one there, 119.0, and we'll get Unicom onto COM2, so we can just hear what's going on Unicom, just in case anyone transmits on that. Now, a very annoying, silly oversight on this Airbus, otherwise excellent Airbus default H125, is that it doesn't have a transponder. That's very disappointing, but you can kind of work around it in the vPilot app, the vPilot client for flying on VATSIM. I'm just going to type in .x1200, and that sets the squawk code manually inside the client to the VFR squawk code 1200. And in the vPilot client itself, I can specify that we're transmitting on mode C, which is what we want for flying around on the network. So I'm just going to leave that there. There don't appear to be any aircraft around. I haven't heard any transmissions, so I think we're pretty safe there today. I will, however, broadcast some advisories on the frequencies, and we'll just see if we can hear anyone else on the frequency. That will be interesting. Okay, weather conditions. Let me see what is most recently in. We're looking pretty good here at Grand Canyon National Park Airport. This is 32 minutes old, this meter, but the wind has calmed down significantly. We are blowing currently 12 knots from 050. So that's from the northeast, and that aligns reasonably closely with the 03 runway here at the airport. Visibility not a problem, clear skies, temperature 14, dew point -13, so very dry air. Altimeter 3014, and nothing else too exciting to talk about there on the meter, so that's all good. Just check that we are going to cheat on here and just hit the comma key, and we're all fine there on the altimeter. Field elevation is fine, and we've only got about 900 feet to climb on this one. Alright, let's get us loaded up here, and so what we will do is get some passengers on board and some fuel on board. Aircraft, flight performances, mass and balance. Fuel, let's go about... I'm going to make the helicopter quite heavy, I think that'll be interesting. Quick fill, 71%, fine. So seats, let us get the people in here. We'll get it up to about... Yes, that's almost up to our maximum takeoff weight. Good, load that. There we go, that's good. Here are our lucky passengers. Hello, people. Welcome aboard. Oh, it's going to be fun. Now, the challenging part here is I'm going to have to close that door. So I will just... move around the cockpit here. Excuse me. Yes, sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, right. Get the get the click spot here. There we go. See, that's just fine. Quite simple. That's how we operate at my carrier. I need to lean across there. So that's normal procedure, everyone. Just relax. Thanks. Okay, so where was I? Let's get ourselves up to speed here. I've heard nothing on the radio, so we're all fine there. Coming up to flight idle now. I've got the input viewer on. Super. So the wind is coming from just slightly to my right here. I anticipate I'm going to need in this system, this French system, a little bit of right on the pedals and a little bit of right on the nose. I suspect the nose is going to want to weathercock into the wind. So once the right skid leaves the ground, I suspect, possibly even the left skid, I expect the nose is going to want to snap to the right slightly. So we'll just have to be ready for that. Alright, so all of our lights are on. Let's get the landing light on as well. And let's do a call. Was just checking that my microphone was going to the right place. Canyon traffic, helicopter 18317 on the ramp at Grand Canyon Helicopters. Getting ready for departure to the west on the Green 2 Air Tour route. We'll be crossing runway 03 and we'll call departing Grand Canyon traffic. So I think that's correct. We're all fine here. Just checking these. 119 0, 1228. Fine. No one's replying on there, so I think we're fine. The runway's over to my left over here. That's the threshold about there, so we will be crossing that. I'll be paying attention when we cross it. Okay, I'm going to call the departure and be on our way. Canyon traffic, helicopter 18317, departing to the west and crossing runway 03. Canyon traffic. Raising the collective. Right pedal in. Getting ready for that nose to snap around like I predicted. Getting light on the skids now. A little bit back on the... Oh, there it's getting lighter. Oh, it wants to move backwards, unsurprisingly, with that wind. Okay, that was actually pretty tidy. I'm going to just translate to the right to move away from that fuel equipment. We're all fine on this side. Gather a small amount of speed here before lifting up. Looking to the left. There is no one on the runway. It's a bit hazy, isn't it, in this light? The runway looks clear. I'm not seeing any lights. No one landing. No one taking off. We're good to go. We crossed the runway. Let's go. Nose down. Raising the collective more. Let's get my directions right here. That looks like about right. So we're already at 7,100 feet. So I'll start pitching down some more. I'm going to start using the quick trim already. So holding down the quick trim button, moving the stick back to the center, and the trim takes over that position. Looking at the yaw string there, it means I need to relax on the right pedal a bit and let that come right there. That's better. That's better. A bit more in trim there. Picking up speed. Still climbing slowly. I'm going to just nudge us down slightly in the trim there to allow us to not climb too fast. I don't need to bust through 7,500 feet. So we're going to be leaving the Class Delta airspace around Grand Canyon National Park Airport. That's denoted by that blue dotted ring there at something called sidings, the rail sidings. Look at me, I've already gone through 7,500, so let me just fix that. Nose down. Nose down. Get that trim back in there again. Good. Yes, some rail sidings are there, so that's where I've put that first point that we're heading to now. Don't be going ridiculously fast here. We don't need to be going faster than 120 knots really, so let's start to control that a bit better. I'm instinctively pushing on that right pedal. I needn't do that. I don't think this next call is strictly necessary, but I just feel like talking on the radio. Canyon traffic, helicopter 18317, sightings 7,400 feet, departing to the northwest on the Green to Heli Air Tour route. Canyon traffic. I guess it tells people at least that I've left. Okay. Now, once again, I'm just needing to keep that altitude up. Alright, we can make that turn to the northeast now, and we start to get our first tantalizing views of the Grand Canyon. How exciting. I think the slightly hazy afternoon air lends a certain extra mystique to it. Exciting. Let's get this right. Now, conveniently, Navigraph tells me some of the features, and I believe the first feature that we see as we just pass over the edge here, just as I'm looking over the yaw string there, is Marsh Butte. Very thick forest around here on the plain, isn't it? I will be doing a review soon, I hope, of Bijan Habashi's Seasons Enhanced, and I would like to see how that might enhance our helicopter flying experience. And here we go, look at us above the Grand Canyon. So it's generally not permitted to fly into the Grand Canyon. I mean, look, this is Microsoft Flight Simulator and you can do whatever you like. But when we're following the real life procedures, which is an interesting experience to try, we are not permitted to fly into the Grand Canyon. We have some quite narrow corridors in which the air traffic or tourist traffic like this flight are allowed. And that, I think, allows people to enjoy the natural beauty in areas that they might be walking or otherwise enjoying what the national park has to offer. What do you think about that, people? Are you impressed? Hope so. So the wind is coming from my right. Look at my altitude. Bad piloting. I need to get back down to 7,500. I'm getting up into the zone where fixed wing aircraft will be operating. As usual, enjoying the scenery too much and not paying attention to basic piloting. So let's fix that. This large feature to our 11 o'clock here is called Confucius Temple. So we should be roughly, well, a little bit higher than its summit by the time we pass by it, but I do need to get a little bit lower here. Oh, look at that. I mean, just look at that. I just can't get enough of it. And what did I say about fixing the altitude? Come on. 7,500, please. I think the simulator does a terrific job of representing the strata and all the geology of the Grand Canyon here. I understand it's a very complicated history, geological history here, and there's still competing hypotheses about when it was all formed and how ancient some of it is and which processes led to the formation of which parts, and yeah, very intriguing history. The Colorado River way below us. Is that 3,000 feet below us? I think it is. It is just so far beneath us there. Incredible. What a view. Confucius Temple right beside us there. And at our 1 o'clock, Dragon Head, which is going to be higher than us when I finally get to 7,500 feet. I think that peaks out at about 7,700, so we will be passing back on the other side of Dragon Head when we make our way around here, and flying in that channel just to our east on that side over there. Wonderful. Dragon Head right there. Oh, that looks good. Look, nothing against fixed-wing aircraft, of course, but I mean, if you can fly this low, then why wouldn't you? Isn't this more exciting? The fixed-wing air routes are a little bit higher along here, so in helicopters we get the benefit of being permitted to fly a bit lower, 7,500, and I believe the fixed-wing will be 8,000 or 8,500 around these parts. Amazing detail on the rock formations there. I assume a lot of it's procedurally generated, but it's so effective. Now, I'm not quite sure what this saddle here is called, but we do need to go over it. So 7,500 is not going to work there. Yes, I know I'm in the right place. I'll just double check that. Magic. Just magic. Maybe you pay attention to this part, Matthew. Incredible vegetation. And that's the other side of Dragon Head. Towering above us, even though, again, I am slightly high. These afternoon shadows. My word, that is something. How lucky we are to have this in our desktop simulation. Incredible stuff. Now, I'm not quite sure what this tower is here that I'm avoiding, now that I've now overcompensated and I've drifted down to 8,200. So we'll just take evasive action here. But get to enjoy a close-up look of that tower. But on this Green 2 air tour route, we get to thread the needle with two formations further down here. The Tower of Ra at our 1 o'clock right now. That's a VFR reporting waypoint. And the Osiris Temple there at our 11 o'clock. Lots of Egyptian mythology honoured in the naming of these formations in the Grand Canyon. If you've done this flight in real life, let me know. I would love to hear your experiences. How does it feel performing this in the simulator after you've done it in real life? Brings back some spectacular memories, I'm sure. What were the conditions like when you flew? Bumpy, windy? Now we're back to real life again, almost. One last look out there. Gosh, what a view. I mean, good job, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 team. No wonder they wanted to have their international launch event here. Alright, so we're just about ready to turn back inbound. It's all over too fast, isn't it? Time goes fast when you're having fun. 7,400. Not too bad. In the little helicopter flying I've done in real life, I think I found it easier to maintain attitude because I think you're a little bit more conscious of the distance that I'm sort of focusing on there now, the gap between the rotor disc and the horizon, which I find a little bit harder in the simulator because you've got sort of more to look at, or maybe the view's not wide enough. Maybe I should have backed off there a bit. Well, that's my preferred view there. Okay, let's turn in now. So our landmark that we aim for now is something called the sewage ponds, which doesn't sound very nice, but as someone who also, as an outdoor hobby, quite enjoys birding, I can tell you that sewage ponds are an excellent place for birds, especially in dry, arid habitats. So I imagine if you ever come to the Grand Canyon and you don't see what you need to see, I think condors and things are known to gather in large numbers around here. I haven't had the fortune of visiting the Grand Canyon in real life. One day, maybe. Imagine soaring on the thermals that spring up from here. Given that we're talking about a nor'easterly today, I imagine that there would be updrafts coming up off this wall here. Okay, I can see the sewage ponds there. And that's about where we're going to do our call. So I just need to think about what I'm going to be doing. I've heard no more action on either Unicom or on the CTAF, so there's still no pilots here today. So I propose to do an overflight of the runway at 500 feet to get us back into Grand Canyon helicopters. So the call sign's Canyon traffic, so because there's no tower on duty, otherwise it might be Canyon Tower. Oh, I wonder who's gone birding down there before. Alright. How are we doing here? We need to do a right turn now to get us back down to the airport. Let's try this radio transmission. Canyon traffic, helicopter 18317, sewage pond 7,500 feet. Tracking Grand Canyon National Park Airport. Attention, overfly the runway 03, 500 feet for landing Grand Canyon helicopters. Canyon traffic. Look, I know there's no one else actually online right now, but I did make it clear that it's Grand Canyon National Park Airport and not one of the other facilities nearby. I think there is a Grand Canyon Airport and a Grand Canyon West Airport, so I think best to specify the exact airport that you're talking about. So we're less than 5 miles out now, so let's think about what we're going to do here. I want to overfly pretty much the middle of the runway so that I get a little bit of a run-in from the south to get back onto the apron. I've left the landing light on the whole time. Look, I've never made any claim that I'm perfect, okay? So you can enjoy all the mistakes as I make them live. So we're going to need to cancel out some trim and reduce our speed. How are we looking here? There's the runway. It looks like I'm getting... Okay, time to start reducing the collective. Reducing the trim. I'm using the hat switch for that. The speed will start falling away pretty quickly. We need to lose height as well. I think the red building I'm focusing on just below the rotor brake lever there is Grand Canyon helicopters. Yeah, I think that's where we're headed. So we cross the runway here. Canyon traffic, helicopter 18317, 1 nautical mile west of the field, crossing runway 03, 500 feet AGL for landing at Grand Canyon helicopters. Canyon traffic. I think that's correct. No one on the runway. No one on the runway, no one coming in from the wrong way. That'd be exciting. Let's get that nose up a bit more. Trim back in. 80 knots. About 600 feet AGL, I think. There's the ramp. I think I've done this approach quite nicely. Let's see if I can mess it up from here. Good. Good, good, good. It's a big runway. I think it's 9,000 feet or something. You get some large aircraft onto that. Alright, there's the tower. And there's my red building, the target. I better not lose too much height here, I don't think, because I don't want to be blocking my visibility with all this foliage here. How's our trim here? That's looking alright. Now, the other trim though, I'm going to have to really start cancelling this out, bringing the nose back up with the hat switch. That's going to very quickly reduce our speed. There's the dark apron, the red building. I was right. That was the correct building. We'll see if we can get back onto that number 2 landing pad again. That's where we took off from. Nose is searching around a little bit. There's a little bit of turbulence in that wind. It's certainly better than it was earlier in the day. Gosh, gusting over 20 knots. It was quite strong. Right. I don't really have a lot of landmarks here, so I'm just going to try and bleed off the speed. There's our number 2. Right. Try and get the nose around. Yes, I'm fighting the wind there. I can feel it. I can really feel it. Right, yeah, weathercocked into the wind there as well. I could feel that. I didn't need to really do much positioning of the nose. And then we floated up as well with a bit of something like ETL, effective translational lift, bringing us up. Oh, a little bit strong onto the pad there. Try and get us right. Now settled it down. All the way down on the collective. And how did we do? Positioning very nice. Well, not too bad at least anyway. A bit hard on the pad there. I think I just arrested that last little bit of descent a bit late. And did you notice that I hit quite hard and then it sort of just popped off again? So maybe just a bit of a delayed response on my part there. Oh well, that's my self-review. Landing light off. To idle, and we'll just do a call. Canyon traffic, helicopter 18317 on the ground, Canyon helicopters, and shutting down Canyon traffic. Well, do you know what? That was fun. What do you lot reckon? Hope you had a good time. And why not leave a comment, tell me what you learned from this, and tell me what you think I need to learn from this. We're all students after all. And whatever the case, do hope to catch you on another video real soon. See ya!